Hello students. Till now I explained about the kingdom 1, that is Monera, which includes all the bacteria, that means eubacteria, archaebacteria and also cyanobacteria. And after finishing kingdom Monera, I started kingdom Protista, which includes photosynthetic Protista and also fungi like Protista and also animal like Protista. And in the yesterday class only I completed that second kingdom, and now I am starting the third kingdom of five kingdom classification. So the third kingdom of five kingdom classification is kingdom fungi, and the fourth kingdom is kingdom plantae, which is also called as metaphyta, and the fifth kingdom is kingdom animalia. So today we are starting a new topic, that is the third kingdom of five kingdom classification, that is kingdom fungi, which is also called as kingdom mycota. Both the names are same, whichever is comfortable for you, you take that name. Okay, now let us go for the details of this, the third kingdom, that is kingdom fungi. This is an unique kingdom which consisting of heterotrophic organisms. What is the meaning of heterotrophic organisms? In the previous lectures also I explained you what is the meaning of heterotrophic organisms. For example, if you take an organism, it can be able to prepare its own food material, then that is called as autotrophic organism. Let us take plant. If you take plant do not depend upon any others for their preparation of the food material. They just depends upon the sunlight and also water and carbon dioxide. Whereas heterotrophic organism means these are the organisms depends upon the other organism. That means what am I trying to tell you is they can't be able to prepare their own food material. If they want food material, they need to depend upon some other organism, then it is called as heterotrophic organisms. I think I'm very clear, but still if you have any doubt you can ask me. And kingdom fungi, it show great diversity either in terms of morphology or in terms of the habitat. That means various morphological forms may fungi you can be able to see in various morphological shapes. Some are in orange color, some are in blue color, some are in black color, some are in creamish white color, like that. Great morphological features, great colors and also habitats. Almost every habitat may you can be able to see this fungi. Okay, there are about 1 lakh species in this kingdom. In this kingdom alone it includes approximately 1 lakh number of species. Such a great diversity this kingdom includes, where the branch of science that deals with the study of the fungi is called as mycology. So the branch of science that deals with the study of the fungi, it is called as mycology, where the fungi name, you are calling the name fungi, na? That name was given by Gaspard Bahin. Gaspard Bahin is a scientist who gave the name fungi, and the father of mycology. Just now I told you, na, mycology means the branch of science that deals with the study of the fungi, it is called as mycology. So the father of mycology is Michael, and Michael, he also wrote a book that is called as Nova Plantarum Genera. In this almost all the details of the fungi he explained, whereas the modern father, that means the recent father of mycology, is D. Berry. So the earlier father of mycology is Michael, whereas the recent, that means the modern mycology, the modern father of mycology is D. Berry. So when you are answering the question, you have to read the question properly, whether they asked father of mycology or they mentioned the modern father of mycology. Because I am telling you students, many times this mistake happened. Personally I observed it. Many students, they don't read the question properly, whether they asked about father of mycology or a modern father of mycology, they don't say it. They just simply say father of mycology, that's it. Simply they will answer Michael, and they will get they lose the marks, and on top of it they will get negative marks also, because you know very well NEET, it also consisting of some negative marks. Okay, so this type of mistakes we should not repeat it. It affects our score. Okay, be very careful when you are reading the question. Father of mycology is Michael, and the modern father of mycology is D. Berry, whereas the father of Indian mycology is Mundkar, whereas some they believe that Mundkar is not the father of Indian mycology. Some will believe that Butler is a scientist. Butler is the father of Indian mycology. It's a controversial, but mostly many of the mycologists they opted for Mundkar. So we will consider Mundkar is a father of Indian mycology. But still there are some they believe this Butler is the father of Indian mycology. Okay. Now, let us take the general characters of this kingdom fungi. If you take the general characteristics, the first characteristic is this kingdom, it includes multicellular heterotrophs. I am telling from the beginning, see these, for example, if you take five kingdom classification, the first kingdom is kingdom Monera. All the prokaryotes, they are included under this Monera. If you take the second kingdom, Protista, all the unicellular eukaryotes. Unicellular means single-celled eukaryotic organisms are included under kingdom Protista. Whereas this kingdom, it includes multicellular. What is the meaning of multicellular? Organism which is made up of many cells. What is the meaning of unicellular organism? That means the whole body of an organism, it is made up of only one cell. Let us take amoeba. The complete body, it is having only one cell. Let us take paramecium. The whole body, it is made up of single cell. So the complete body of an organism, it consisting of only one cell, then that is called as unicellular. Such unicellular eukaryotes, they comes under kingdom Protista. Whereas multicellular, that means the body of the organism, it is made up of or it is composed of many cells, then that is called as multicellular. Heterotrophs, just 5 minutes back only I told you what is the meaning of heterotrophs. The organisms which don't have the ability to prepare their own food material, so they always depends upon others for their food material, then that is called as heterotrophs. And this kingdom fungi, it includes multicellular heterotrophic organisms. Hope you understood. And at this point I already clearly told you, they includes wide range of diversity. Fungi, it consisting of so many varieties, approximately around 1 lakh species are present in this kingdom Mycota. They have lot of diversity of habitats and also body organization. Thallus means body of an organism, it is called as a thallus. Okay, the thallus organ, that means the body structure, and even the types of reproduction. Some they follow asexual, and again in asexual may some they follow budding, some they follow fragmentation, and some they follow this what I call fission. Like that, different types of reproduction, different types of habits, different types of habitats, even different types of the body structure. So this much of variety of organisms are present in the fungi. That's why kingdom fungi is one of the most diversified kingdom of the five kingdom classification. Now they are omnipresent. I'm talking about the third characteristic. Hope you understood the first two characteristics. Now I am taking the third characteristics. The organisms of kingdom Mycota, they are omnipresent. What is the meaning of omnipresent? Basically, omnipresent means they are present almost everywhere. Then that is called as omnipresent. You that is true also. Fungi, if you take the members of fungi, almost everywhere you can be able to see. That's why it is omnipresent. And they are mostly terrestrial. What is the meaning of terrestrial? The organisms which live on land, then they are called as terrestrial. For example, if an organism is there, if it is present in the water, then that type of organism you have to call it as aquatic organism. For example, if you take birds, mostly they spend their life in flying. That's why they are called as aerial. So this type, that means where the organism it is finishing their life cycle, then that type of habitat it is defined into, it is differentiated into terrestrial, aquatic, aerial, cursorial, arboreal. Like that, various types of habitats are present. Now let us take fungi. Fungi is mostly terrestrial, that means mostly fungi they lives on land, okay, and on land also they love to grow in warm and humid places. That means the conditions must be having a little temperature and humid places, that means some moist. So moist and warm areas they usually prefer. Now as just now I told you, not even 2 minutes, just 2 3 minutes back only I told, they have wide range of diversity in their habits and habitats. See, I am proving that statement. See, some grow on bark of the tree and they are called as carticolous. That means there are some fungi which grow on the bark. You know what is the meaning of bark? If you take a tree, the outer brownish layer, you can clearly observe it. You can see some cracks also on that. है ना? You definitely must have seen the tree. If you see the tree, the outer brown color layer, that is called as bark. Sometimes you can be able to see some cracks also appears on that bark. And some of the fungi they grow on the bark, that means the outermost layer of the trees, that is called as bark. And on the bark, if the fungi grow, then that is called as corticolous, understanding it. Whereas some they grow on cow dung, then that is called as caprophilous. Whereas some they grow on wood, then that is called as epixylic fungi. And some they grow on burnt wood, then that they are called as xylophilous fungi. And some they grow on keratin. You know now what is the meaning of keratin? In our body, if you take the hair, it is actually made up of keratin. Even our nails also they are made up of keratin only. So keratin is a dead protein which is present in the hair, nails, horns, hoofs of the animals, okay. Whereas if the fungi, if it is growing in the keratin like hair, this horns, hoofs and also nails, then there that type of fungi it is called as keratinophilous fungi. Hope you understood. By seeing this only you can understand various types of habitats may they have ability to grow. Hope you understand this general characteristics. Now we will take some more general characteristics of kingdom fungi. Now let us take the fungal structure. That means how the fungi is present. That means it is made up of what? Basically, the body of the fungi is haploid. Many times I told you, not one time, around 2 3 times I told you, haploid means the organisms which consisting of only one set of the chromosome, then that is called as haploid. Whereas the organisms which is having two sets of chromosomes, then that is called as diploid. Whereas the organism which is made up of three sets of chromosomes, then that is called as a triploid. Now if you take haploid, only one set of the chromosomes are present, okay. Now the body of the fungi, let us take the fungus structure. The body of the fungi it is haploid. That means they consisting of the cells of the body of the fungus, they consisting of only one set of chromosome. So the fungal body is haploid and thalloid. What is the meaning of thalloid? This is a new word you are listening. Now basically the body, thalloid body means their body they don't have proper differentiation. That means there is no proper roots, there is no proper stem, no leaves, like that the body it is not differentiated into various parts, then that is called as thalloid. And this body it is called as mycelium. It's a very important point what you need to remember. The body of the fungi is called as, they will give various options, then your option must be mycelium. So the body of the fungus it is called as mycelium. See, this is called mycelium. Now if you take mycelium, again mycelium आपको दिख रहा है ना, you just follow this arrow mark, then you will understand it is again made up of several filament like structure. दिख रहा है ना आपको? See, there are so many filaments. Now these filament like structures which are present in the body of the fungi which is called as mycelium, they are called as hypha. Of course either hyphae is there. Hyphae basically means I am using plural. For example, if I am taking only one filament, then that is called as hypha. Whereas if I am taking all the filaments that are present in mycelium, then that is called as hyphae. Hope you understood na? Singular, plural. Apart from that, there is nothing more. Okay. Again, I repeat, the body of the fungi is haploid. What is the meaning of haploid? Presence of only one set of the chromosome in the cell, then that is called as haploid. And the body is also can be described as thalloid. What is the meaning of thalloid? The body which is not differentiated into proper well organized parts like root, stem, leaf. That proper organization is there, just a small mass of the cells, then that is called as thalloid. Whereas the body of the fungi, it is called as mycelium. So this whole body of the fungi, it is called as mycelium. If you take this, the body of the fungi which is mycelium, this mycelium, it is composed of several filament like structure. दिख रहे हैं ना? See, so many filaments are there. दिख रहे हैं ना आपको? And these filaments are called as hyphae. Now we understood na? Now let us take how again the hyphae it is made up of. Now if you take the fungal hyphae, this hyphae, they are the thin, tubular, mostly transparent threads filled with protoplasm and covered by the cell wall. Okay, again I repeat, if you take the fungal hyphae, they are thin. What is the meaning of thin? They are very narrow in their breadth, then that is called as thin. And tubular, see, दिख रहा है ना आपको, it is looking like a tube, दिख रहा है ना? So they are thin and tubular and transparent. What is the meaning of transparent? See, the body, because it is almost translucent. What is the meaning of translucent? You can be able to see the object by crossing that particular organism, then that is called as a transparent. And they are thread like, see, they are very thin, दिख रहे हैं ना आपको clearly, they are thread like. So they are thin, tubular, transparent, thread like structure which are filled with protoplasm. And these cells of every cell, it is covered by the cell wall, then that is called hyphae. Now these hyphae that are present in the fungi, they are of two types. What are they? The first one, it is called as septate hyphae, and the second one, it is called as aseptate hyphae. I'll tell you just in 1 minute. I'm going to explain every detail so clearly, but hope you understood what is hyphae. Hyphae means that the thin, tubular, transparent, thread-like structures which are filled up with protoplasm and covered by the cell wall. Now let us take the types. Septate hyphae. What is the meaning of septate hyphae? Now you can see the image. It is very clear image. Na? Now every cell, now this is one cell. Now let us take this is second cell, and let us take this is a third cell. Now every cell, it is separated from the other cell by having one wall. For example, your house is there. Now if you compare the hyphae with your house, then one room is there. Let us take kitchen. Kitchen, it is separated from hall by a wall. Am I correct or not? Now the kitchen, it is separated from this bedroom by a wall. Am I correct or not? Like that, if one cell is there, let us take here one kitchen is there, and one hall is there, and two bedrooms are there. Now every room, it is separated by one septum, that means one wall. And like that, every cell, it is separated from another cell by a cross wall or septa. Septa means what? Wall. Basically septa means wall. Now one wall, a septa, it is separating one cell from the other cell, then that is called as septate hyphae. Hope you understood now. I told you very clearly, but still you have any doubt, definitely you can ask me. Okay, now let us take, this is one cell, this is a cell 1. Now let us take this is cell 2. Now let us take this is cell 3. Now all the cells, they are separated by the cell walls, cross wall. This is called as septum. That's why it is called as septate. Cross walls are present between adjacent cells, so it is called as septate hypha. Hope you understood now. Now see, it is mentioned also septum. See, दिख रहा है ना आपको septum. Okay, septum basically means wall, cross wall. Okay, now each cell, it consisting of either one or two nuclei, sometimes many nuclei, but mostly one or two nuclei will be there. Then you definitely get a doubt. What is the doubt? Sir, one cell, it is completely separated from other cell by septa, you told. Then how they are connected to each other? It is a very simple question. For example, kitchen is completely separated from the hall but still you can see some entrance. Am I correct? Not so. From the hall, if you wanted to go to kitchen, you can get up and you can go into the kitchen. And how you can go? There is some entrance like that. They are not completely sealed. They are not completely what you call closed. They consisting of small pores called as septal pores. Like how our kitchen and the hall, or kitchen or bedroom, or kitchen or hall, how they are connected by small doors, small exits, like that. One cell, other cell, they are separated by the septa, but they are still connected by small pore like structure. They are called as septal pores, I'm sorry, septal pores. So with the help of the pores, septal pores, one cell, it is connected to the other cell. Now you understood now. Hope you understood about septate hyphae. Now let us take other type of hyphae, that is called as aseptate in the name itself. Septate hyphae means the cell, the cells of the hyphae, they are separated by the cross walls, that means septa, whereas the cells of the hyphae, they are not having any septa. That means you remove all the walls in your house, then you can be able to see only one very big room, like that. If you remove all the septas in hyphae, it looks like, see, all the cells are fused. दिख रहा है ना आपको? The complete protoplasm is fused, whereas here the all the cells are completely separated, and each cell it consisting of its own protoplasm, its own nuclei. Whereas here I removed all the, let us take easy way, I'll tell you. Now one biology class is there, and another what I call some maths class is there, another chemistry class is there. Biology class I am taking, let us take what I call maths class some other teacher is taking, chemistry class some other is taking, and you can happily listen to my class and they can listen to their classes respectively. Now what someone did now, they removed the what I call walls, they broken the halls of all they broke the walls of the classrooms. Then what happens? I am teaching, but it will be clashing with maths teacher's lecture, and it will be clashing with the chemistry teacher's lecture. That means when the hall, when the your classroom, it is completely separated by the septum, then you can be able to see your own class. That means particularly your own class. For example, if I remove all the cross walls and all the classrooms, it becomes single classroom, very big classroom. Am I correct or not? Which results in the mixing of all the students. You can't be able to differentiate biology students, you can't be able to differentiate math students, because all the students, they are sitting in the same classroom. जैसा लगता है ना, that only I am telling. Aseptate hyphae matlab the cells are not separated by the cross walls. That was the complete protoplasm, it is fused, and all the nuclei, they are fused matlab they are getting scattered, they don't have proper position. And that type of arrangement, it is called as a cenocytic arrangement. That means aseptate hyphae, it is also called as cenocytic hyphae, because all the nuclei, they don't have proper position, so it look like multinucleated. Hope you understood now. So this is a most important point, because cenocytic question is many times asked. Cenocytic means because the wall is not there, that means the cells are not separated by the what I call cross walls or septums. The complete protoplasm is fused, which gives the appearance of many nuclei that are present floating in the protoplasm, and this condition, it is called as a cenocytic condition. I think I explained you very clearly, but still if you have any confusions, immediately you ask me that question and definitely I will answer you back. Okay, now let us take nutrition. What is the meaning of nutrition? How they are taking the food material. Now this all this particular fungi, they are achlorophyllous. What is the meaning of achlorophyllous? The chloroplasts are absent. For example, if you take a plant, they consisting of chloroplasts. So the chloroplast, they consisting of a pigment called as chlorophyll. With the help of the chlorophyll, they can be able to trap the sunlight, and they can be able to participate in the photosynthesis activity, and thereby it can be able to produce its own food material. This all actually you know. Now achlorophyllous means what? The chloroplast is absent, so the chlorophyll pigment is also absent, so they don't have ability to trap the sunlight and can prepare their own food material. That is the meaning of achlorophyllus. Chloroplastus and chlorophyll pigment is completely absent. Then that is called as achlorophyllus organisms. That is the reason why if they wanted to prepare their own food material, that capacity is completely absent in the fungi. That is the reason why they are called as heterotrophs. Now you understood now? Again, I repeat a very quick revision I'll take. If you take nutrition, the fungal cells, they don't have any chloroplast and chlorophyll pigment. So they can't be able to prepare their own food material. So if they wanted to get the food material, they need to depend upon others for their food. That's why the fungi, it is called as heterotrophic organisms. Hope you understood now? And mostly the fungi, it depends upon dead and decaying organic matter, and the organisms which depends upon dead and decaying organic matter, then that is called as saprophytes. Hope you understood ना? For example, you are also eating bread and fungi also eat bread, but उसको थोड़ा what पुराना चाहिए. That means you eat fresh bread and they eat bread after 10 days. Okay, you eat fresh what I call dal chawal, they eat 10 days after dal, after preparation of the dal, and 10 days after the preparation of rice. That means the dead and decomposing matter may they will depend, and the organisms which depends upon dead and decaying organic matter for their food, then that group of organisms, they are called as saprophytes. Hope you understood now? Now fungi, some fungi, they also take another types of nutrition. What are they? Some are parasites and some are symbionts. What is the meaning of parasites? Parasite means the organism which depends upon the host organism, then they are called as parasites. For example, the examples also I brought here: endothea and also ceratocystis and Puccinia. So these are the various fungi which depends upon the plants as the parasites. For example, aspergillus and also Candida albicans, these are the fungi which causes infection to the human beings. Like that, there are certain fungi which depends upon the other organism, that means host organism, and causes some diseases to them, then they are called as parasites. Hope you understood now? Whereas symbionts means two organisms are present and both the organisms are equally benefited, then that is called as symbionts. Parasites means two organisms are present but one organism is benefited, the other organism will be harmed or diseased, then that is called as parasite. Hope you understood now? Symbionts means the two organisms are present and both the organisms are equally benefited, then that is called as symbionts. And for that also I brought some examples. What are they? The first one is lichens. What is the meaning of lichen? Lichen is a symbiotic association between fungi and green or sometimes blue green algae, both the types of algae, where the blue green algae, it is photosynthetic, so it can prepare its own food material, so it gives food material to the fungi. And fungi, it consisting of, just 15 minutes back only I told you, the body of the fungi, it is composed of thread like structure, filament like structures, they are called as hyphae. Because the hyphae, if you want I'll show you also, then you will understand. Now see, these filaments are there now, so in the filaments these algae will settle. So what happens, because it is having filamented body, in the loops of the filament, these algae can be able to take the shelter. So fungi, it is giving shelter to the algae, and algae in return, it is giving food material to the fungi. See, both are benefited now. See, algae, it is getting the shelter, and fungi, it is getting the food material. That means both are equally benefited, no organism is lost. Now you understood now? Then that only I am calling it as symbiosis. I think now clearly understood. So the symbiotic association between fungus with blue green algae or green algae, then that is called as lichens. Whereas the symbiotic association between fungus with the roots of higher plants, then that is called as mycorrhiza. So these are the two examples for symbiotic fungus. Hope you understood now. Now let us take some other characteristics. The cell wall is made up of chitin, and chitin, it is also called as fungal cellulose. Okay. Now some fungi, most of the fungi, I'm telling you students, this is one of the very very important point. Most of the fungi, their cell walls are made up of chitin, but there are certain fungi in that surprisingly you can be able to see the cellulosic cell wall. But of course very very less, okay, very very less number of fungi only they show the cell walls with cellulose. But most of the fungus, I can say, I should not tell like this, just only for your understanding I'm telling, 95% of the fungi, their cell walls, they're made up of chitin, chitin which is also called as fungal cellulose. But whereas 5-6% of the fungi, they consisting of cellulosic cell wall. Hope you understood now, where their body, sorry, their cells, they consisting of oil and also glycogen as the reserve food material. Many times I told you, while I'm explaining about cyanobacteria, while I'm explaining about monera also, so many times I told you reserve food material means, for example, you ate some food material, for example you had some food today. Now all the food you don't utilize it, इतना work हम नहीं कर सकते, so that some amount of food material, it will be stored for the future use in form of fat. For example, in our body it is there adipose tissue. Adipose tissue have one unique character. What is that? You know, the excess food material what you are taking na, it will store it for the future purpose in form of fat. Then that is called as adipose tissue. Like that, every cell in of the fungi, it consisting of some amount of the food material which can be used for the future purpose. Hope you understood. Then that is called as a reserve food material. And the reserve food material of fungal cells are nothing but oil drops or glycogen. And fungi, you can differ from the plants by three characteristics. What are they? Absence of chlorophyll. If you take plant, the plant, they consisting of chloroplastus, so they consisting of chlorophyll. With the help of the chloroplast and chlorophyll pigment, they can prepare their own food material. Whereas if you take fungus, they are achlorophyllous. That means chlorophyll is completely absent. That I'm clearly indicate it. This clearly indicates that they can't be able to prepare their own food material. This is the point you need to understand. And presence of glycogen and oil drops as the reserve food material. Now, if you take plant, the plant consisting of starch as a reserve food material, whereas the cell wall, it is made up of chitin. Whereas if you take plant, the plant cell wall, it is made up of cellulose. So this is how the fungi, it differs from the plants. Hope you understood. And the most important characteristics of the fungi are, the first one, they live in what I call saprobic, that means what I call moist and damp areas. And the second one is they are saprophytes, that means they depends upon dead and decaying organic matter. And their cell wall made up of chitin, which is also called as fungus cellulose. Whereas their reserve food material is glycogen and oil drops. So these are the most important characteristic features of kingdom fungi. Hope you understood students. And tomorrow I am going to study about reproduction of fungus, and today's class where I explained about general characteristics of fungi. Hope you understood. But still, if you have any single confusion, you please ask me. I will answer you. Thank you so much.